Hi, it's Sheridan Webb here from the Training Designers Club, which is the place to go for practical L&D support, especially if you work on your own. And today I have a musing that has come to me from various different sources over the last few days. Some of it has come to me via the news, some has come to me via family gatherings, some has come to me via online discussion groups, some has come to me via our designer drop-ins. So they've not been the same conversation, but I'm noticing a pattern. And this pattern is how when something isn't quite working as it should, there's a tendency for us to add in more stuff. Add in more layers, add in more checks, add in another system, add in another checklist. So all of these things to try and make sure that things work better in the future. Now, if you've ever lost weight, you'll know that there's two ways to do that, two main ways anyway. One way is to exercise more. The other way is to take in fewer calories. So one is an add-in and one is a take away. And this is what I've noticed in all of these different arenas, is that sometimes if we take things away, it's just as effective, if not more effective, than adding more stuff in. So, for example, in a discussion group that I'm a part of, they were talking about manager inductions, which are hugely important. And that's a whole different musing, a whole different blog, because we can't just assume that managers know what their role is all about and how they are supposed to execute that role. But what most manager inductions do, if a manager is indeed lucky enough to have an induction, is it tells them about all of the stuff that they need to do, all of the paperwork, all of the performance management, all of the planning, the organizing, the authorizing, all of that sort of stuff, all the forms they have to fill in. But what it rarely does is tells them what they can stop doing as well. And that's why I think a lot of new managers get completely overwhelmed and end up being ineffective, because no one tells them which parts of their old job they no longer need to do. And it's just the same when we are designing training, whether it's a program, a workshop, a webinar, whatever it is. There's always a temptation to add a bit more in. We need to stress that. We need to make sure that this really comes across. So we just keep adding and adding and adding. Now, as far as I'm concerned, if you're adding more time for reflection, if you're adding more time to practice, if you're adding more time for people to actually explore the concepts, the ideas, the good practice, to make sense of it, to go through the whole master process and sift for the meaning, then adding more is a good thing. Just adding more content and squeezing all of those elements is probably not going to end well. So when we find ourselves looking at designing training or maybe refreshing training that isn't having quite the impact that we would like it to have, something I would like you to consider is not to add more stuff in, but to actually take stuff out. Which elements of content can you take out to make more breathing space for those key concepts, those key practices, and give people more time to explore them, to practice them, to play with them, to understand them, to really connect with them. So that is my musing for today, really. Don't automatically look at what you can add. Also look at what you can take away, because you might find that that has just as big, if not a better impact on the learning and development that you are creating. For more of my thoughts, for more practical tips, please do check out the rest of the channel, and of course visit the website and the podcast. The website is www.trainingdesignersclub.co.uk, where you'll find lots and lots of free and low-cost resources, and of course have the opportunity to join us in our VIP community.